you see a guy like Hikaru misplay a rook ending like that. But also, we were right the whole time. And I'm not just saying that. The fans watching the show could see it. I was so nervous about what Hikaru was doing. And playing for rook c4, allowing that king to g4, we were calling it the whole time. Like, hey, this is actually risking losing. But he went for it, and ultimately, he regrets it.
I mean, up a pawn in a rook endgame, to lose that can hurt your soul. And you see Jan, he takes on b5, and now it's Hikaru who's paused because Jan has sacrificed a piece, and he didn't win it back, which he could have right away with pawn to d4. Instead, he's playing this very ambitiously, hoping that his pawns can storm forward. And if Hikaru's greedy, Danny, and he wants to keep the material, he could find himself in some true danger. But it seems that Hikaru knows this opening, even though it's quite tricky.
Yeah. That was wild. Hikaru just lost the rook ending with an extra a pawn, right? I mean, it just shows that chess is hard, and you have to be careful and practical about what is actually on the board. You can't let the emotions of thinking you're the only one who could win allow you to push past the point of no return. So what a match this is. Jan Nepomniachtchi regains the lead. If you're just tuning in, Jan had a 3-game lead after the 5-1 portion. Hikaru came storming back, but now he's the recipient of a big gift from Hikaru, is Jan, and he's got a 7-6 score.
But this is a very bad sign for Jan. You sacrifice a piece, you don't go down the typical continuation because you want to play tricky chess, and now you're the one thinking, while down a knight for 2, and it could be 3 pawns if he takes an a6, but this is clearly not expected from him. And when you just win a game, Danny, I don't think you really want to get into this kind of territory where suddenly you have no idea what you're doing.
Agreed. You're not supposed to sack a piece and then not know what to do. That's like a pro tip, right? So I don't want to go so far just yet that Jan didn't know what to do. Maybe he was clarifying his prep, because the other argument, Robert, is after you sack a piece, you better make sure you play it right. And maybe he was just slowing down to make sure that he remembered what to do. Ultimately, he plays f3, and it's a wild position here.
Yeah, the correct move. So we have to, of course, credit Jan for finding the right continuation. And now it's Hikaru who's thinking, so maybe they both are right, that this is tricky. So it was the exact moment where Jan did need to slow down. I just expected that if you're going to sacrifice a piece, you typically know the follow-up. And here, speaking of follow-up, this f-pawn can rumble forward. The knight jumped into e4. I don't know why that would possibly be a question mark. The knight was under attack. If it went to e6, f5 would have been a fork. So how could you not? What is happening?
And now the computer's like, I don't know, but sometimes the computer doesn't have a lot of time to think. Okay, boys and girls, let's forgive the engines, because when you're down a piece, okay, Hikaru's just winning here in a couple moves if you find queen h4, right?
I'm just
Knight
really...
f2. By the way, can you just show queen h4, please? Okay, he played it finally. Because if d takes e5, just show it real quick. Give me the mate. Give me what I want. Come on, give it to me. I love it. That's checkmate. So that's what's happening, everybody. And I don't know what white does here.
I'm trying to figure out a way to not just be down a full rook, because that's the current concern. What could there be? Rook f4. There's queen takes f4 with knight f2 to follow, so that doesn't work. Queen e1 played.
I don't know why. I thought you were going to say "I caramba," and I've never heard you say that in your life. But you went "I," just like, I don't know why. My head filled in. It was we almost completed each other's caramba. I don't know.
Well, this is looking like an oy vey, not an I caramba. Before Jan Nepomniachtchi, rook takes e5 check. Bishop takes, king takes f2. Perhaps that's what you need to go for at this stage, because black is now up a piece, and white has what, 1 pawn to show for it?
Yeah, it's funny because just the players have been laughing a little bit. They've got some inside jokes that we don't know about. After Jan won that game, and they kind of laughed it off, I think, because he knows he stole one in a rook ending. Then he played this piece sack, and like, I don't know what was going on there, but okay.
No, doesn't look very okay for Jan here. Knight d3 hits the bishop, hits the e pawn, hits the b pawn. b5 pawn is still loose, but knight c3 is just a good way, ignoring the initial threat, and some of these trades may allow white to survive.
Yeah, down the exchange, but everything else going for white. More active pieces, threatening c7. Hikaru's going to have to unwind. Well, yeah, if Jan saves this one, then it would be, well, it would be appropriate to the whole day. I think the reason Jan has been in the position he's been in is because he has held a lot of bad positions, and
Wait,
he might be doing it again right now.
I don't fully understand. Rook takes c7 comes to mind as well. I know you're giving up 2 pieces for a rook, but you get this d7 pawn, so it's 2 pawns for a bishop there. But e6 also. I'm taking away that exclamation point. That was the only move there at that stage. So rook f8 didn't really deserve an exclam. But I think that things are getting very tricky at the moment, and that's good news for Jan, who's down material.
100%. This is Hikaru has to win this game all over again, despite what the eval bar says. That's a passed e6 pawn. That knight is irritating as all giddy up. Horses go giddy up. That knight goes giddy up. It loves it.
And I think Jan wants to play b5 and get a rook c7 check, going after this king and trying to spring free that passed pawn. So Hikaru objectively has great winning chances, but it's really tricky at the moment. Like, the knight is so frustrating, as you're indicating.
Yeah, and now both sides are under time pressure. Hikaru was in control on the clock, not so much anymore. It's wow. It's wow. All right, b4 hanging. That opens up the diagonal. Oh,
yeah, he wants this.
I don't think Jan saw that. That was a blunder, and Jan shakes his head. The moment he did, you know it was over. Hikaru, I think, will level the score here.
I mean, if he doesn't win this game, then I don't know what to say. He wins actually immediately because